Alright, welcome back. So in this video we are looking at another challenge activity for conditionals. This one's called Never Ending Fish Scene Part 1. There's going to be two parts to this. And this is code.org CS Discoveries. So in this activity, if we look at this, it said, let's make an underwater scene with fish that never stop swimming. We are revisiting our fish scene with some new fish to make this scene. Okay? So it says do this. Use the if statements to make two of the fish sprites wrap back around once they go off screen. So we have a bunch of fish moving across here. Pick two of the provided fish animations or add your own sea creatures. Move each sprite in a different direction. And you can use the image to the right for inspiration. Okay, so you don't have to follow this identically. I'm going to try to basically mimic this completely. So we'll just kind of, you probably have it identical. If you run it right now, you do have the bubbles that are moving, and you can see that down here in the loop, that you have these two ellipses, and that's what's causing them to move, or causing the bubbles to move up. And so what we're going to do is, and you have a third one here, bubbles right here too. So there's actually three bubbles. All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to animate our fish, and then we also need to have some if statements that cause them to go from one location to another location. Okay, so first thing is we need to animate the fish. So we have a blue fish, an orange fish. Let's go take a look at what we need here. Oops. Need a blue fish, orange fish, green fish, shark, starfish. We have a lot of different things we need to animate here, so it's going to take a little bit. So let's go ahead and start animating them. We're going to drag this one out. And we'll do the blue fish first, and we're going to need a plus for the math because we want to increase that. And let's have it go by 5. Okay, so let's just see what our blue fish does now. Nothing. Great. What is going on with the blue fish there? Set animation, set scale. It should at least move. Well, let's try adding a Y location to this too. Oh, I see what I did. Now that I see that. Mistakes can definitely happen in coding. Totally forgot to add the sprite X there. And then if you do change the Y location as well, because what we're going to do here, this is going to cause that blue fish to move on an angle. Okay. Make sure you do, the dot X and your equals to the dot X, which is its current location plus 5. That's how you're going to get that effect that it's moving across the screen. The Y obviously is doing the same thing, so it's going to be kind of on an angle. Let's take a look. Yeah, so there goes our blue fish. We can see that that's over here as well. All right, so let's go ahead and do the orange fish. Now the orange fish, I believe, yeah, there's the orange fish right there. We actually want to subtract from that because we're going to move right to left instead of left to right because there's our orange fish. And let's make that slightly different than this, just so we don't move at the same speeds. So right now our orange fish is just moving across the screen, but we want it to be on an angle. So we're going to do the dot Y here. Same idea. Let's change that. And let's make that just 1. So we don't want to do have the same angle as the other one. Oops. oops, spelled orange wrong there. There we go. And so now we have our orange fish. So now let's move on to the green fish. And our green fish just moves across the screen. So we're just going to change its X location. But again, we're going to subtract. And let's make that just something different. Let's do 2 for that one. Let's see how our green fish moves. Very good. So our green fish is moving across the screen, and if you wanted to make it faster, we could, you could do that. Maybe I want to make it different speed, you can. All right, so now we're going to do the starfish. So we have our starfish here. Now that's going to move down, so that we're going to need the Y location. And because it is moving down, we're going to add to that. Let's do 2. Now it drops, but if you notice over here, it kind of rotates. Or it kind of rotates. So let's do that, and let's change that rotation. We'll be adding to that as well. Careful with this one. They do have a lowercase f for the starfish, just as a quick note for you. So now if we run that, there's our starfish rotating. That's perfect. Now we're going to do the shark, because we do have a shark on here too. And that one we're just going to move across the bottom of the screen. And we'll make him 4, have him move pretty quickly. Okay, so we have this all done for this particular part. However, now we need to add conditionals to this. Okay, so we need to kind of go through each one of these. We're going to do the blue fish. So we need to add ifs, and I'm going to move this. And we want to use comparisons. So we're going to use this, basically saying, so if the blue fish, if it gets more than 400, so it gets over to here, then we're going to have it move to a new location. Okay, so now what we want to do is use that bluefish.x. Okay. And when we want that to happen, we want it to move back to, over to this side again. So we're going to change the X location. Making that 0. And then we want it to change so it's not going to just start there. We want it to kind of move along the side here. So we're going to use .y for that. And what we're going to do is let's use a random number. Okay, so then we can say that it's going to be anywhere along this. So we'll go to math, we'll drag out random number, and we'll make that 0 to 400. Now we got to do that for each of the fish. So we're going to go ahead and do this all over again. And we'll go a little quicker this time. So now we're going to look at the orange fish, but the orange fish, if you notice, we decreased, right? So eventually it's going to get over here, or let's take a look again, orange fish. Oops. Let's get that out of here. So here's our orange fish moving across. Well, this will be 0 over here, right? And so we want to change that. But now because of that, we're going to be less than. And then if that happens, well, then we're going to change its X location, and we're going to say that it's going to be 400. And then, again, because we kind of want to do this just like this one, we're going to drag this out. We're going to drag a random number. 0, 400 again. Make sure you spell your variable name correctly here, which I failed to do earlier. And now if we watch this, here's our blue fish. He's going to change to a new spot. Orange fish does the same. And now we're just going to go ahead and fix our other ones. So we still have a green fish, a starfish, and a shark. So now we're going to do the green fish, and that one we're going to do less than as well. So let's use this. Then we want the .x. And actually we're going to do .y here eventually too. So, and that we're going to do 400. And then again, that one is going to be a random number again. So we can randomize this. Okay. Let's do another one. And this one's going to be for our starfish. Now the starfish, because it's moving down, we want it to be greater than. And that is actually, because we're moving up and down, is going to be the Y location. So that can be a little tricky. And the F in starfish is not capitalized, just to make sure it's different from those. Just make sure you're aware of that. And we want this to be greater than 400. So if it ends up getting down here and the Y location is greater than 400, then we're going to do a couple different things. We're going to change its X location, we're going to change its Y location. And that we're going to make it 150. We're going to have it be off the screen up here. And this, though, again, now you could do 0 to 400. Totally fine. We can do that. Or you can change this up if you wanted to. We'll do 0 to 400. So it's just going to... So we can watch our starfish. And then eventually, we'll grab that. And we'll eventually move down. Maybe it won't. Let's do 200. I bet it showed up off screen here. Oh, actually, let's set that to 0. And let's make that 0. I think I had it too high of a number there. There we go. That's better. Okay. So now let's do one more here. We're going to take care of the shark very quickly here. So again, with that, we want it to be all the way off the screen. So we're going to use a greater than. And we're going to keep track of the shark dot x. And let's say 500. Okay? And if that occurs, and this we do want it to be less than. So let's do like -100. Okay, and then let's go ahead and change, actually not the x though. Change the y location so that it comes in at a different spot. No, I think we want x. We'll do x. And then we'll change the y. Okay, let's take a look. There we go, they're all moving. So before I signed off on the previous video, I neglected to fix the bubbles. So if you notice, if we reset this, you have bubbles, but right now when they get to the top, they do not move. So I need to fix that. So, totally forgot that. Apologies. So we need to use an if statement here. We'll just attach it to the bottom of this. And what we're going to say, now we already have a counter up here for bubbles. Right here. Okay, that's kind of impacting all of these. So we really just have to check for the bubbles. Okay, and we're going to say that if the bubbles are less than 0, so they get to the top, then we want them to do something. And we're just going to actually just name that variable. Okay, just like that. And we're just going to say if it gets less than 0, then what we want to do is we want to set the bubbles back to 400. So very simple. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this right here. We're going to make 400. Okay, so now when we run this and all of our characters move, so when this bubble reaches the top, it's going to set it back to 400. And we get them all showing up back here. We don't have to worry about moving them around or anything. They just need to keep resetting. So anyways, that's how you fix that. Now hopefully that will help with your coding. Good luck.